How to Survive in the Desert by Antonio Kennedy. Illustrated by David Erickson. If you have ever watched old cowboy movies, you know that often there is a scene where people are lost in the desert. The sun is bright. There are no clouds in the sky. It is very hot. The hills are brown. There are no trees or plants. The people are confused. Up ahead, they see mirages, visions of pools of water. But when the people try to get to the water, they find only sand. By the end of the scene, only a few people survive. That may be a scene from a movie, but it also shows an accurate image of the dangers of a desert. A desert can be deadly for people who get lost in it, but people can survive in deserts. The Bedouin people live in the Arabian and Egyptian deserts. Their clothing is loose and long to keep them cool in the hot climate. 8 tips for surviving in the desert. How can you survive in the desert? Here is advice from experts who teach survival skills. 1. Clothing. Dress to protect yourself from the intense sun and heat. Wear a hat with a closed top and a wide brim. Do not wear sleeveless shirts or tops. Protect your body. Keep air circulating on your skin. Wear loose pants and long-sleeved shirts. Wear brightly colored clothing so that searchers will be able to see you easily. 2. Water. Stay in the shade and limit your activity to nighttime when the temperature is cooler. Drink water only when you need to. Learn to find water by following the flights of birds and animal trails. A person in the desert gains heat from 5 sources: the sun, wind, ground, sand, and rocks. 3. Shelter. Find or make shelter. If you have a sleeping bag, drape it over a bush for shade. Do not sit on the ground. The temperatures of sand and rock in the desert can be 30 to 40 degrees hotter than that of the air. Try to make your shelter in a place where it can be seen by searchers. Do not make it in a dry creek bed. It can have a flash flood if it rains. 4. Fire. Temperatures at night in the desert can be cold. A fire will keep you warm. It will also keep animals away. A fire is also useful at any time for purifying water, cooking, and signaling. Scorpions are found in deserts. A scorpion has a poisonous stinger at the tip of its tail. 5. Dangers. Watch out for insects, snakes, and thorny plants. Look before you lean on your hand and before you sit or lie down. When you get up after sleeping, shake off your clothing. Check your shoes to see that there are no insects inside them. 6. Vision. Your vision can be fooled in the desert. You may see mirages that blur objects in the distance. Mountains may seem like islands in the water. Objects may also appear to move. In the desert, objects appear to be closer than they really are. 7. Signals. A mirror flashing can be seen for miles. Flash at airplanes and dust clouds on the horizon. The dust may be a sign of cars. A whistle can be heard up to 2 miles away. Blow it in bursts of 3. This signal means that you need help. A whistle is also good to scare away animals. 8. Food. In the desert, food is not as important as water. If you have only a small amount of water, do not eat. Eating increases your need for water to digest the food. We hope that you have found this information about the desert interesting. We hope you never have to use it. How do desert animals survive? Jackrabbits have enormous ears that take heat away from their bodies and release it when they are in the shade. Desert toads sleep deep in the ground until the rains come in summer and make ponds. They then come out, mate, lay eggs, and eat and drink so that they can sleep again. Bats and many other creatures come out only at night when the desert is much cooler. Vultures and storks fly high where the air is cooler. Even experienced hikers can lose their way if they do not think clearly. Think and live. How your attitude can make all the difference. One of the best survival tools is your brain. If you can think clearly and keep calm, you probably will survive. If you panic, you will be in greater danger. Panic is a fear so strong that people lose control. Sometimes people stop moving and cannot do anything. Other times they do too much. If they are lost in the desert, they keep going even though they have no idea where they are. They waste precious energy and get even more lost. Verb phrases for being lost. In English, people use verb phrases to talk about being lost. A person can say, "I am getting lost," or "I got lost." People may say, "We are lost." What does it mean to be lost? Think about what you can use to help yourself. If you are lost or in any emergency, here is what you need to do. Stop and breathe. Breathing helps you calm down. Accept that you are in a situation that you will need to resolve. Do not waste time or energy thinking about what should have happened earlier. Look at your situation. Think about the supplies you have. Look at the advantages that you have. Look at the conditions around you. For example, is it getting dark, or is a storm starting? If it is getting dark, or if a storm is approaching, your first need is to find shelter. Think. Before you make a decision, think about what might happen. Do not act until you have done this. Careful thinking can reduce the chance of a bad result. Plan. Make a plan and follow it. If conditions change, be ready to change your plan. Think through your situation again and make adjustments. Do not give up. Think about all the reasons why you need to get out of this situation. Think about the people who need you. Think about the things you want to do. Do not let yourself get too sad to act. It is really true. Thinking clearly and having a positive attitude can mean the difference between life and death. Stay positive and use a signal to make it easier for people to find you. Desert Survival Kit for Young People. You do not need expensive tools to survive in the desert. Simple things can be very useful. Here are basic supplies you should pack if you plan to go out in the desert. A brightly colored scarf or some other bright clothing. This can be used to signal where you are. Extra clothes, such as a jacket. A whistle. It takes much less energy to blow a whistle than to shout, and the whistle sound goes farther. 1 or 2 large garbage bags to stay warm and dry. It helps if the bags are a bright color so they can be seen. Keep them off your face. You can also use them to gather food or wood or to form part of a shelter. Water and food. A flashlight with extra batteries. A magnifying glass to help ignite fires. Use it to focus the sun's rays on dry leaves or twigs. The material will begin to smoke, then to smolder, and then it will catch fire. A mirror to flash signals or attract attention. Identification or information, such as your last name. The Sierra Cup. Keep it light and easy. When you go camping in the desert, you want to carry as little weight as possible. That is why you need to know about these classic pieces of camping equipment. A Sierra Cup is very useful. It holds about 1 cup of liquid and weighs less than 2 ounces. You can put it directly on a stove, then pick it up by its quick cooling handle. You can use it to cook soup or beans, or to boil water. It even comes with measurements marked. Years ago, tents were made of heavy materials and took a long time to assemble. It was a painstaking job. Today, a tent can be put together in minutes. Tents today are much better than the old ones. The tents made today can weigh less than 7 pounds and are made of light, strong materials. These light, strong tents can be made to shelter 7 people or more. Talk about it. 1. What kinds of clothes should you wear in the desert? 2. Why should a person who is lost in a desert think first before acting? Write about it. 3. Look at the list of things in the Desert Survival Kit for young people. On a separate sheet of paper, write information about 2 or 3 things to add to the list. Extend language. The English word survive comes from the Latin super, which means above, and vivere, which means to live. A person who survives is someone who lives above or lives beyond a danger or threat. What dangers can a person survive in the desert?